Hello there, Sword Family, and welcome to a new segment that I'm hoping you do around once a month, where I get to interview interesting people. Oh my God, 40 comments. Okay. We'll run through these hopefully fairly quickly, and then I'll bring my guest on. So, yeah. First to the door is Foxy. Good evening and welcome to the Teahouse. And there is my one and only patron, Joe Bachman. Good evening, Foxy. Good evening, Joe. And there is Kitty, who will be the mystery guest. Well, you'll just have to wait and find out. And Trey is joining us. Evening all. Evening, Trey. And, of course, the lovely Dawn saying good evening. Good evening to Dawn. And Donna greeting Foxy, Kitty, Trey, Dawn, and Joe. Donna saying the Withman dude should be along soon. And Joe greeting Kitty, Trey, Dawn, Donna, and Carl when he arrives. Greetings, yes. Donna just got home about 15 minutes ago. Kitty wondering where they went. Donna says, LOL, I reminded the Withman dude it was treehouse time, and he thought I was talking about treehouse Munzie we have outside our house. I think the closest one that we have, the closest one that we have is mine, and it's right out that way. I put it on the spot that I take Hooli out to pee. I called it Hooli's place. It's nice. Down in Terre Haute, Indiana, at a Munzie event. Okay, cool. And there is Carl. Hello, everyone. Must get water, and then I'll be back. Trey asking Munzie event next weekend by you guys. Donna saying ours is next weekend. Okay. Don says, guess where I'll be a week from today? Indonesia. Donna says, we were thinking that after it, you guys could follow us home, and on the way, we'll all stop by Lee's Chicken and get our suppers and eat it at our house. Jealous. From today, Donna has no idea. Foxy says on Earth. It's probably a pretty good bet. Trey saying couldn't possibly be the event. LOL. Hopefully somewhere you can be in Danville on Sunday. I wish. Clear on the other side of the damn country. Foxy saying don't forget to like and share and all that good stuff. She did it before Donna did. I'm surprised. Donna saying hee of course. And Dawn saying my guess is the guest is Trey. My God. That was harder to say than I thought it would be. Kitty saying, why do you say that? Carl's guest is Kitty. Perhaps. Joe saying, well, with it being a woman's shadow picture, that means it most likely isn't Nick. I will confirm that it is not Nick. Possibly at a later date if we can get the whole, scheduling thing figured out. Donna thinking the same thing. Kitty saying, isn't Nick busy on the weekends? Yeah, usually. Or is he messing with you? Could be. Trey saying, have you seen Nick's hair? It puts a lot of women's hair to shame. This is true. This is very true. Foxy agrees. Donna says, yeah, but that silhouette's hair is neat. Yeah. I know women who would kill for that volume. Yes. Maybe Donna to talk about her armor. Not this time, but again, possibly later date. Carl soon to find out. Maybe Dawn is trying to throw us off of it being her. Well. Nick didn't think to ask about that last night. Maybe it's the ghost of spooky seasons gone by. Only 40. Shush! Currently dork caving a puzzling. Okay. And there's Dan. Dan is here. Good to know. Foxy greeting Dan. Dan is sorry for being late, fighting an online order for him to get building materials. No worries, you're right on time. Okay. All caught up with the comments for now. So, my guest is an accomplished martial artist, an equally accomplished fiber artist, and one of my favorite human beings on the planet, ladies and gentlemen, Trelena Bachman.
Hey, y'all.
Dawn, you figured us out.
She had like no process to that. It was just there.
I know. I'm kind of curious how she figured it out. I'm kind of annoyed, but all right. We had people going for a little while at least.
Right. I was gonna say we kept it pretty secret.
Yeah. So this is gonna hopefully be a once a month thing until I run out of people to interview, which is gonna happen before the end of the year probably, but we'll see. And it's kind of going to be a way to introduce other people to audiences that they might not be familiar with, which is not very likely with the group that's in the chat right now. But we'll see if we reach some more people. Yes, Dawn, you win. You win a cookie. Now shut up.
A cookie.
And yes, Foxy couldn't say anything because she knew, because I told her the idea before I even asked anyone, because I wanted to do something on those in-between weeks.
Yeah.
And I thought, why not bring in some people that I know that are also into martial arts or also artists? So,
well, I told Joe, because I was like, do not plan anything for this night. We need to be home.
Well, I haven't officially asked yet, but he might be next for October, so.
Nice.
We'll see. I'm not bringing up that comment, Carl. Hush. Okay. So, since this is, obviously tea time, first question is, what are you drinking?
I currently have water. I did not hydrate enough today. But
Shame.
I know. I actually do have a little electric kettle and my beautiful little teacups back there, though.
Oh yeah, those are great.
So lately, lately it's been the black cherry celestial seasonings.
Oh,
that one's good.
I love that one, and it sucks because I got it in that sampler pack when I first started doing the show, but I can't find regular boxes of it.
They sell it on their website.
Do they?
Yeah, they actually sell things by the box on the website.
Well,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, they have some really good sounding flavors on there.
Lately, it's been the wild berry, because I was able to find a box of that one, and that one's really good too.
That one is good.
So, what first got you into martial arts?
So, you've probably heard Nick talk about it, but we actually did go to the same college, and I was a little freshman in college, and it was club call out, and they had a bunch of different booths and stuff, and I was like, I grew up from, I was born in '86, so I grew up with like Ninja Turtles and SWAT Cats and like all the good ones.
Oh yeah.
So you grow up and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, especially when you're super rural, as in less than 500 people in your entire town. So you go to college and you're like, everything's bright and shiny, and you see people playing with swords, and you're like, hey, that's pretty cool. That sounds awesome. And I started with the club there, and ended up, Nick and I actually lived very close to each other. We didn't find this out until I moved out. But so we were part of the same reenactment group. So I started doing martial arts through them. and then just continued on after I left the group.
Nice. Okay. So, what is your preferred weapon of choice then?
So it depends on the mood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you're feeling playful, and you know it's sword and buckler, and sometimes you want to mess somebody up, and it's double dagger.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's sword and buckler or double dagger are definitely my preferred styles.
Well, that was going to be the next question: is what style do you fight in?
Um, so I prefer a shorter blade, usually about 30 inches,
Okay.
and I I do enjoy having something in the offhand
Mm.
because it's just more fun, especially when offensive buckler is a thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, just anything except case, which is two-handed swords. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't do two swords. I can't do long-handled sword like the heavy swords. My brain just short circuits.
Yeah. I kind of had the opposite because when we were doing Boffer with our local group here,
Yeah.
everyone, literally everyone, had two weapons and a pole arm.
Oh,
Like everybody that I fought, and I'm over here with one sword. And everyone kept asking me, doesn't it feel weird not having something in your offhand? And I'm like, I don't pay attention to that hand.
oh. So you don't parry with that hand at all?
Nope.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
nope. The one time I made a pair of uh, Wing Chun butterfly swords,
Yeah.
and I kept forgetting that I had a weapon in my offhand. I was doing everything right-handed, and people were like, "You have another, you have
I,
another weapon. What are you doing?"
I was going to ask if that was a personal preference or it's kind of an Eastern martial art thing to not have
Well,
like an offhand.
it depends on the style because there are a few like the butterfly swords or the twin Dao or the twin Jian
Okay.
where you can have two weapons
Hmm.
in an Eastern style. But for me, once I start fighting, this hand stops existing. I
Really?
just completely like it's not there. With
They
those
they
butterfly swords, I went up against someone and I had the main one kind of pointed forward like this, and the other one was under my elbow.
okay.
So it was like this. And they came up to me and they had their sword drawn and they went, I have no idea what to do with that. And they turned around and walked off.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I don't know.
They actually used to throw things in our offhands and tell us to put it up by our face so we'd remember it existed. They're like, hold a glove in that hand. Parry with that hand. I
Yeah,
don't wanna.
when I'm doing my Myers square at the end of the night, most of the time when I'm cutting, this hand is right here on the
Okay.
inside. So if something were to come from this direction, I could
Yeah.
parry it with my hand. But for the most part, I completely forget that I have a left hand.
See, I'm the total opposite. When I'm doing my drilling, I'm parrying with my drills. That way I remember it's, oh, parry.
Yeah.
Not the face.
And it was really entertaining with the Boffer group because they couldn't understand how I was able to effectively deal with a lot of these people that had pole arms and double daggers. They had range on me or they had another weapon but I was taking people out, and it was remarkably entertaining to them because they're like, but I have two weapons and you have one. I'm like, yeah, but I'm better with my one than you are with both.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time, so I know Sword Sage in person. We used to spar
Yeah.
together. The first time I saw an Eastern pair disengage, I lost my mind because it was from the middle of the sword
Mm-hmm.
instead of from the hilt, and I was like, "What? What? What did you just do? What is that?
Yeah, that's kind of why I enjoyed, sparring with people from different disciplines.
Hmm.
Because if you're only going to be in your one little insular box,
Yeah.
then eventually you're going to come up against someone that's going to do something that you're not expecting, and you're going to go, "Wait a minute, no, you can't do
Yeah.
that.
My brain actually went, don't do what? Don't
You
do
can't do that
that. I can't do that. Why are you doing that?
because it is the way."
It,
Okay, this one should be an interesting question, because I've had people ask me this question, and I have to seriously stop and think about it before I can honestly answer it. So, if you could fight one historical person, who would it be and why?
oh,
Hmm.
I don't any historical person.
Alive, dead, long dead, doesn't matter.
Can it just be for the sheer hilarity of it?
Answer it however you want. That's the best part of the question.
So if it's a fight where I just want to giggle the whole time, probably. So, okay, I know you like kung fu movies.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the Crippled Avengers?
Not for a while.
Oh, so the guy that's insane, I would love to actually have a bout with him just for the sheer what the heck is going on of that whole fight, because he use he uses the entire environment around him and just keeps going. It's I'm pretty sure it's monkey style and
It's possible.
just rolling around and having a grand old time.
See, that was going to be my next question is, what kind of martial arts media that you enjoy, like movies and books and like video games, stuff like that.
So so I like reading Western martial arts things.
Yeah.
So I can't think of her name offhand. Wow. She wrote the Protector of the Small series, which is about a young girl becoming a knight,
Hmm.
and she's been raised in an Eastern area, comes back to a Western area, and wants to become a knight to protect people. And they're like, girls can't do it. And when you're about the age of the girl in the book, and you see her putting on weight vests and running, you really resonate with it. At
Yeah,
least I resonated with it. But but I love watching kung fu movies. They're some of my favorites.
that's something that I've run across a lot in this particular area of martial arts, is even people who do purely Western, like Fiore and stuff.
Oh
They're
yeah.
like, I love old kung fu movies. It's like,
Oh yeah.
yes.
They're great. But then pretty much anything with a decent fight in it and a good storyline, like Princess Bride, where
Oh,
let's be real, if you don't like the Princess Bride, it's because you don't know what's going on.
I had a friend, one of my martial arts circle friends I met at our local college, and he was dating this girl, and we were hanging out one day, just kind of talking martial arts and stuff, and he just stopped in mid sentence and he goes, I think I'm gonna have to break up with my girlfriend.
Oh,
Where the hell did that come from? I'm like, okay. He's like, she doesn't like Princess Bride.
that's a deal breaker. That is a red flag right there.
I'm like, all right, dude. You got to let that one go, man.
Dang, yeah.
It's like, well, we have weekly movie dates, and she's always,
Yeah.
bringing in, bridesmaids and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I brought up Princess Bride, and she's like, well, I've never seen it. And he's like, oh, yes.
Right, yeah.
So he sits her down to start watching the movie, and he's like, and like 10 minutes in, she's checked out. She's on
Just
her phone.
not into it.
She's like calling her friends up, and like, yeah, okay, dude.
I'm
Nope,
saying.
that one's got to go, man. I'm sorry.
No.
They'd only been dating for like a month or something anyway, so it wasn't really a big loss. But
At least she showed the red flag before it got
there
too
you go.
far.
Yeah. Have you played any like martial arts kind of video games? You know.
I used to play God, what was it? I don't remember what it was. It was on the original PlayStation, like the PvP ones.
Ooh.
So yeah, so my siblings and I would just load those in and go for hours.
Yeah. I still think you and Joe would like Nine Dragons. I know I kind of hammer this point to people, but it's an interesting game. It has really, really deep lore if you get into it. And other than the fact that it's not the game that we originally played,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be closer to the version they get over in Korea, which is
Oh.
it's different from what we were used to. It's been through 4 or 5 different hosting companies already.
Oh.
But it's I think it's a fun game, and she doesn't like to play solo games.
Gotcha.
So if there's not other people there playing with her, she doesn't want to play.
I've been playing like the comforting like slice of life farming sim games. So Stardew Valley, Fields of Mystria, like that kind of thing. Because I just want to dig a hole, diggy hole, and then plant some sunflowers.
I love that song, and I
It's
can't.
great. I played it the entire time they were excavating on my projects this year
Oh
because
God.
I couldn't resist the hilarity of it.
Well, yeah. So that's another interesting question: is how does what you do for work? How do you like implement martial arts into that part of life?
So definitely the situational awareness
Mm.
that I've picked up just starting like you start sparring and then you spar with multiple people at once and you start learning, okay, I need to watch my sides, watch my back. Somebody could be anywhere at any time. And then you get out to a job site and there's so much chaos going on and things are beeping and it's distracting and you could get hit at any time. So that's definitely a part of it.
All right, yeah. That's kind of why I'm apparently in the minority, at least according to a lot of the people that I talk to, where I hate playing games in first person.
Oh yeah, no. No.
And that's exactly why.
Yeah, I hate it. If I can't hear where you're at around me in a game,
Exactly.
like no.
That was it. Like Skyrim.
Oh yeah.
People annoy the shit out of me. Foxy's brother, I literally sat and watched him because he had the game first. He bought it first. I couldn't afford it. I watched him sit there for 4 hours, making his character look exactly the way he wanted it to look.
And then you can't see it.
Every single minute detail, and then he plays the entire game in first person. I'm like,
and all you see is this.
Yeah, you see hand.
A hand. One hand. Not even 2 hands. 1 hand.
Like, why? And you don't even see the whole hand because he's carrying a sword. So you see knuckle. You see the back of the hand.
Yeah, nope.
That's also why I don't do a lot of first person shooters.
Yeah.
Because all you can see is.
I love seeing the breakdowns though of people showing why they don't show like third person, and it's because they're doing such weird movements that it would look ridiculous in the third person.
That's probably true, but unless you have to play in first person, if there's a choice, I'm going third person because I can see all the way around my character.
And then I want it zoomed out.
You can't get jump scared because it's like, oh, there's an enemy over there. they're gonna jump off of that ledge right there, and they're gonna be in front of me. No. Oh, this is very true. Foxy hadn't watched Princess Bride till me because she. Yeah, This comment entertains me. Carl had Trey down to the double dagger.
It's fun. Especially since I'm a very defensive fighter usually. So, like, sword and buckler, I'll sit there all day if I have to. I will put the sun in your eyes, and then I will sit there all day. And then you put 2 daggers in my hand, and suddenly I teleport like Nightcrawler, and I'm just there.
That makes me really, really want to actually spar with you, because I am.
It would be so much fun.
100% a defensive fighter.
We would just be sitting there for hours. Just, okay, yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I'm just gonna lean back here and Gigante.
Exactly. I have been told from the boffer group not to be afraid to rush into the fight, and I'm like,
I'm not afraid. I'm just gonna make you work harder than I'm gonna work.
My personal favorite memory of that group is our very, very first battle. We had at this big castle playground that's kind of behind our high school. And to this group, I was a complete unknown. I had never been there before. This was my first time. So they weren't expecting a lot from me. And the self-professed best fighter on the field had a pole arm that was very, very reminiscent of a Kwandao, only the blade was like 75% shorter than it should be. But everyone said, oh, you need to watch out for him because he's the best person on the field.
Okay.
I went, really? Made a beeline right for him. And in the rules of this particular group, only your chest, arms, and legs counted.
Okay.
So anything from the neck up, which happened a lot because these people had no style. They were wild, flailing, and they would hit people in the head.
No point control, no calibration.
Nope. But this guy would snipe at your feet.
Oh, yeah.
The feet don't count.
Yeah.
From the ankle down, it doesn't count. So he would do these big, low, sweeping attacks. And then when people reacted to that in mid-swing, he'd come up.
Yep.
So he went for that low sweep, and I don't know if I wasn't supposed to do this, but I did. I stepped on the blade with my left foot, jumped and spun and clocked him right in the back with my sword. Very first day, very first battle, very first fight, and he went, how the hell did you do that? It's called training, my man. Yeah. Fight of will. Yeah, me and Trey would, it would be the Princess Bride battle of intelligence. Okay. Who's gonna break first? Let's see. That would be entertaining, though.
I think it would be a really fun match.
Oh, it would. Okay, I think I know the answer to this question, but you could surprise me. But if you could learn any other weapon from anywhere in the world, what would it be?
Ooh.
Everything on the table. Doesn't matter.
I don't know. You know what? So if I had the ability to do it, because I have the means, I just really don't have a method. Quarterstaff.
Okay.
Because I get my hands tangled up, and I am definitely more of a hindrance to myself. But if it was something I didn't have in my immediate vicinity of learning,
Mm.
probably dart, like rope dart.
Oh. That's Kitty's forte right there.
Yeah. But I see them and I'm like, that would be so cool.
Oh, I don't do a lot of flexible weapons, despite the fact that my very first weapon that I ever really got into was nunchucks because of Bruce Lee.
Oh yeah. So my first sword that I bought was a 40-inch rapier. It sounds absolutely ridiculous. However, it had a lot of flex to it, so I could actually stab people behind their own shields because I knew how to actually use it as like a whip almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would flex it down and back up, and it would curve around their shields. And they didn't catch on for a long time of how I was doing it.
There's actually a movement in one of the Chinese sword manual. I'm not 100% sure which manual it is, but there's a movement called casting the fisherman's rod.
Okay.
And it's specifically meant to go over the top of shields.
Okay, yeah.
It's all in your wrist, and you just kind of pop it.
Okay, yeah.
Your wrist is bent, and it's meant just to go over shields.
That was a lot of what I was doing. It was all in a wrist motion.
Yeah.
And it would just, it was a snap of the wrist as you were throwing a shot that would get it.
That would do it. I used that move once or twice in buffering, and people always. The problem is it's attacking the head.
Oh yeah.
So I'd have to like turn my wrist to hit them in the shoulder or something.
Okay.
But people hated that one too.
There's a position, first position. It's supposed to be you draw your sword and it comes up above your head, and it looks absolutely ridiculous, especially if that's your starting stance and you're standing in it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go through with it and just draw and hit, beautiful, just beautiful, right to the top of the head.
So have you read any like manuals besides obviously the simple sword?
I have. So when I started out, it was Silver and Gigante and several others, and just looking at the plates and trying to figure out how they got from, okay, they're in this stance here, and suddenly they're in this stance here. What steps am I missing?
That was a big issue that I had with the first manual that I ever bought. Because in Eastern martial arts, there's not a whole lot of surviving like manuals. They're very, very few. I have a translation of one. Mm-hmm. But I bought, it wasn't exactly a training manual, but it was teaching you the World Wushu Federation Jian form.
Okay.
And it was all in Chinese in pictures. So all you had was you this stance to this stance to this stance. And I was practicing it for years, just going through the pictures and going, okay, they stand like this and then I got like on YouTube or something. I don't even know why I didn't think of this in the first place because we're in the information age, but I got on YouTube and looked up the form and I was doing it completely wrong.
Yep.
Because all you had is these pictures to go by. And it's like, okay, to come from this stance to this stance, you do this. No.
Yeah. No, they throw in like 8 extra steps in a turn. And you're like, how did you? That's not common knowledge.
No, it's not. So here's one I didn't even think of until just now. But if you could fight one of the historical masters.
Oh, Gigante. Immediately. That is my preferred style.
Okay.
Just that lean back. It's very comfortable for me. I was doing that style before I even knew what that style was.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting thing too. When you have something in your mind
Mhm.
on how to use a sword or any weapon out there, and then you come to find out later, oh, that's actually a historical thing.
Yeah.
That's just there are only so many ways that a body can move, and
And
you
somebody
find
else.
something that fits for you. And
Mhm.
because I have sparred with, oh my god, kendo practitioners,
Mhm.
a guy that did Highland sword. He didn't like me. He's I met a lot of these people at our local college
Yeah.
because we're in a college town and people come. It's a small ass town. Sometimes you have to wonder how the hell did you end up in this tiny little, southeastern Utah town? Well, I wanted to go to college. Okay, but why'd you pick this one? But this guy was probably close in height to Richie,
Okay.
but he was buff. Like he was
Okay.
ripped. So I realized, okay, if this guy catches me,
It's over.
I'm gonna die. He's going to demolish me. So I made it a point to stay out of his range as
Mhm.
much as I could. And then when you see an opening, jump in, pop, jump back out.
Yep.
And after about 7 or 8 minutes of this, he's like, stand still, you bouncy bastard.
The fact that
No,
you're getting frustrated by that. No. No.
it's working. So I know that you've done, the Shakespeare's company stuff, but has there ever been a time that you were sparring in like a public setting, like at the college or something that you were talking about, and people just stopped to watch you?
Oh yeah. 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 Had, our group had the police called a couple times when we were practicing in the park.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and we're like, no, it's okay, we're safe. People would just stop and watch. Uh, I got to do the I am no man thing at a park because I wear a mask and I had on all my gear and stuff. And we're at a public park. We're fighting, and I we come to the end of our bout and hear, oh, those two dudes, blah blah blah. And I pull off my mask, and I had long hair at the time, and it was in a braid. I it was I saw my chance, and I took it, and it was
sometimes,
great.
sometimes you got to take those chances because I think it's in people's nature to just want to see things they're not used to seeing.
Oh yeah, I mean, just hearing the steel hitting each other.
Mm,
It's a sound you're not used to around here.
no, I don't think you're used to that anywhere.
Yeah.
Walking from my car in the parking lot to the building that I was assistant teaching the kung fu class and carrying just armloads of like swords and staffs and spears. I remember this one girl. She walked past me, and I swear she was part owl.
Did her
Her
head
head
like
just,
crack?
and she walked right into the door of the building.
Oh
I'm just like, I'm
no!
sorry.
Oh no!
Let me get that for you.
Oh no!
That's why I love being a martial artist in this century, because no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you're going to get attention.
It and it's usually positive attention.
Usually, yes.
At least as far as I've found. It's usually younger children going, "What are you doing? What can I learn?" And then the adults are just as, enamored with the idea.
Now that was going to be my next question: is what kind of response do you get from people?
It's been overwhelmingly positive throughout my whole experience. every now and then you'll get a weird look of, what are you doing? And
Yeah.
it's usually like teenage guys trying to be cool. Usually. But overwhelmingly positive. People are excited to learn about it and to see it in practice.
I've had a lot of the same reaction. It's usually the dude bros that are like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yeah, shut up."
Well, it's really
But
funny when they walk up and they're like, "You're never gonna get a woman that way," and then half the team like pulls off their masks and it's all women, and we're like, "Really now? Really?"
that's what you think.
Right?
This last year at our local Ren Fair, I cannot tell you how many times, because I'm walking around carrying a sword.
Oh yeah.
And the very first year when I screwed up and broke myself, there weren't a
Oof.
whole lot of people carrying swords, but as it's gone on, more people are showing up in costume with swords and shield. The last year there was a couple people carrying bows and quivers. It was awesome.
Nice. I love
But
it.
it's always the little kids that will walk up to me and be like, "Can I see your sword?"
Yes.
I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I don't know if I'm supposed to be carrying one that's actually sharp, but
Oops. Peace tying. We don't do peace tie around here.
and this is very true. Carl says a lot of people appreciate watching the battles, and they do. When we used to do Boffer, it was like Saturday afternoons, I think, and people would just, you would see cars drive
Oh
by
yeah.
and come around the block to watch again.
Yep.
Sometimes it was, people just wondering what the hell is going on.
Are they allowed to do that?
I don't know, but I'm not stopping.
We we actually met a boxer at the park one day, and we still had the gear in the back, and we saw him and a girl walk out of the woods, and they're like, "Oh, we were just looking for somewhere to train." That we were looking for, because there's clearings in the woods,
Hmm.
and they didn't want to disturb anybody, and they're like, "Oh, we're being safe, we promise, blah blah blah." And they were very concerned we'd be upset with them because we're on the parks board, and we're like, "Oh, no, 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 let us show you what we do." And we start pulling out the training weapons.
That was my experience with been several years ago now, because I'm pretty sure it was before COVID, so it was probably 4 or 5 years ago now.
Mhm.
My Sherfu got a hold of me because a local author had finished a book and she was doing a little demonstration thing, and they called in some HEMA people from upstate,
Yeah,
and they were doing demonstrations, and then we did some demonstrations, and we got to talking to the HEMA guys after the event.
yeah,
Just, comparing notes and stuff. And we took them out to the little castle park, and we went to lunch and just
mhm,
had the greatest time ever. And we became Facebook friends. And then probably a year ago,
mhm.
the main guy got a hold of me. He's like, "Hey, they're starting up an SCA branch
Okay.
down near you," because he's lives upstate, and he's like, "You should like try and get on the board." I'm like, "But why?" Like, I don't. People who've been around me long enough know that I'm very critical of myself. So I'm like,
No, not you.
yeah, I know. Don says Shakespeare in the Park sparring was fun to watch, and they had someone wanted to learn something. I heard about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's like my tiny little second grader cousin, or is it second cousin? I don't know. She's my cousin.
Cousin.
Yeah, you know, couple summers ago, I decided I was going to start teaching her just to give her something to do,
Oh
and
yeah,
she still, like, she comes over to my parents' house and she'll go pick up her bright pink sword,
I love it.
and she's like, I want to go practice. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go.
Right.
And I'm just waiting because now she's hanging out with a little girl that lives in this apartment complex.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the two of them to come over and be like, we want to practice. Like, I don't, your sword's over
Right.
Aunt's house, dude. I can't, no. I decided before actually starting to teach her, because I made her a little boffer sword for Christmas.
Oh,
I need to find that picture actually, because that's like one of my favorite. It's bright pink.
excellent.
And she opened it and she's just like, is it mine? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't make this for me.
Oh,
And I just did very, very basic. I'm talking like block over here,
yep.
up here, down here, thrust. And she remembers it like 2 years
Good.
later. She's like, let's go. And it's just like, okay, but
I love it.
Hey, Nick is here.
Hey,
Hey, Nick. You might
surprise.
be a friggin' guest on this at some point if we can ever actually get, like, timing and stuff down. All right, this is my last question. So, if we want to wax about it for the next 13 minutes. But being of the female persuasion,
Mm-hmm.
how would you personally improve martial arts for women and female presenting people? Because I'm trying to be inclusive. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, there is no such thing as unisex armor, and the first person that tells you that deserves to be punched numerous times, because you will get hurt wearing unisex armor. It is for men. You need to buy women's armor. For the love of everything holy. This is a very big sticking point for me. Nick and Amanda actually showed me a book called The Armored Rose.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it is magnificent because it's a husband and a wife. They're about the same height, similar builds, but they've outlined where their joints are and where their waist and their hips and everything are. And they show different movements and how it's affected by their different builds. And a lot of the women and people that have been on female hormones that I know
Mm-hmm.
have issues with armoring because it's mainly made for men, and they've been injured by their own armor. Yeah, I know a lot of people that their own armor injured them, but they had to wear it because it was in the rules.
Yeah.
So when your armor's pinching and biting you, more than a hit would do, something needs to change. It really does. And it can be difficult to not get run out of areas. Because just like in everywhere, it's a very type A personality, usually aggressive thing.
Yeah.
So I've actually had people go for the weak link, go for the woman. And I'm like, excuse me, I have, like, I taught these people.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get frustrated when these young men are not defeating me. And they're like, I told you to go for the weak link. And it can be very frustrating.
Yeah. That makes sense because right now I have 3 students and they're all women, but before that it was mainly guys that would come up to me in the park or, at the college and be like, hey, what are you doing? What are you practicing? And I'd have to basically tell them, I don't really understand the people who go out of their way to mislabel things. My dad does this, and a lot of the people that approach me would ask me, what kind of karate is that? I want to learn. And I have to tell them, not everything Eastern is karate. Please.
I do that intentionally to my nieces, but it's little things like, oh, you playing that Pokemans? Yeah, I know it's Pokemon, and I know they're not playing Pokemon. I know it's, Digimon, but but it frustrates them and it gives me amusement. But there's a difference between that and just trying to belittle something that somebody feels accomplishment with.
And that's pretty much it. I've been doing this for more than half my life now. And when people go out of their way to belittle it or mislabel it or just general being annoying about it, I'm like, look, man.
Yeah. What's the point? Why?
Yeah. And like you said, it's usually the 18 to 25-year-old wannabe dude bros who sit there and think they're cool, and you have to just kind of be like, okay, whatever you say, dude.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Yep.
Well,
Oh, no. Yeah. My armor accidentally injured Dawn when I gave her a hug. I'm sorry, Dawn. I'm sorry.
Well, that's definitely something that I've never really had any experience with, is any kind of armor.
I was going to say, what's the armor situation you're usually in? None?
Nope. And yes, Nick, I know it's stupid. But
your style, though,
time that I've sparred with someone, street clothes, man. No mask, no glove, and it's really entertaining because a lot of Eastern styles, they will go for your hands. Because hey, if you can't hold your sword, you're no longer a threat to me.
Oh yeah, most of the time that's the first thing you can reach on somebody when I've been sparring them. So I'm like, I'm gonna hand snipe you. Exactly. There's no reason for me to go in for the kill if I can, just render you useless.
Going after hands, wrists, forearms,
heads when they lead with them, knees sometimes. But so during sparring, that also depends on how well people's joints work. Because if I know you have an injured knee, I'm not going to do it in a friendly spar.
That makes sense, yeah. One of the people that we boffered with, well, actually, it was the wife of the guy that I stepped on his pole arm. He had bad knees.
Okay.
And he would go after people if they went after her knees. But at the same time, one of our group got pregnant, and she asked people not to hit her in the stomach. Obviously. And he was one of the first people to say, if you're on the field, you're fair game.
Oh, really?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Wow.
Dude. Wait, hold on. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's that's grounds for, car in the parking lot is what that's grounds for.
And he would seriously want to hurt someone if they touched her.
Yeah.
But she was out there on the field. She wanted to fight. But if you actually went to attack her, he'd get in the way.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, dude, I understand you being protective of your wife, but don't be a dick about it.
Yeah. There was a couple that I've gone against before, and if your calibration was even slightly off with her, you were gonna get blasted by him in retaliation, and you knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, this is a very true. There's reason that we don't play with them anymore. Not the least
Yeah.
of which is they were horrible. Like I said, none of them had any training in any martial art.
Mm-hmm.
So it was entirely just flailing, and they didn't call their shots. So you could
Oh,
hit them
no.
multiple times, and they'd be like, "No, I'm fine."
Yep. Rhino hiding. We actually did work with a couple of boffer fighters. They were LARPers, and they started coming to practices with us because they wanted to improve. They're like, I want to learn how to actually do it. And now they do armored combat in Tennessee, I think it is, and it's freaking awesome.
That is beautiful.
It's awesome to watch.
And Nick says, "Shoot, Trey, you have worked with, trained quite a few dozen students by now." Yeah,
Yeah.
Seen more coordinated toddlers. Oh God.
Oh.
Okay. I have to share this now because I actually found my
Yes.
picture.
Oh, do it. Yeah.
Where is it? Come on. Ah, not in the location I thought it was in. There we go. Okay.
Yes.
There.
That's awesome.
Why is it bright pink?
Yes.
The pommel here is made out of 12-ounce Pepsi bottle caps.
Oh, yeah.
And the cross guard is 4 straws.
Nice.
So she enjoys it.
Hey, that's what matters.
Like I said, when she opened that on Christmas morning, she got this little look on her face and just, is it mine?
Yes.
Yes, it is for you. And
nope, I put it there to taunt you.
According to my phone, that picture was taken December 19th of 2021.
Oh, wow.
So she's been at it for a
Oh,
while.
yeah. It's kept her interest for almost 3 years now. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about it is it was originally just going to be something for that summer in between school.
Yeah.
Just for something to do. I also taught her how to ride a friggin' bike with no training wheels, and just,
that's awesome.
But she's still like, I want to keep doing this because this is fun.
Good.
So I had to go out and make an equally small one for myself that I might have pictures of that one too. Because I wasn't going to make her go up against my full size sword with a 1.5 foot sword. That would just be mean. So when she decided she was going to keep playing, it's like, well, now I have to make
right.
I have to make one for myself. And then, if her friends start getting into it, I'm going to have to make more of them. Mm-hmm. Oh, darn.
Yeah, I can tell that breaks your heart.
Oh, it's just crushing me.
Terrible.
I can't find it now.
It heard you were looking for it.
It did, too. That kind of thing tends to happen to me. when I'm looking for something, I can't find it. And then when I'm not looking for it, it's like, oh, here I am. And this is true. She about needs a longer one now because she's grown up in the last 3 years, but I don't want to, because that means she's getting older and I don't want to.
Well, then you just have the progression pics of the weapons.
Oh yeah, eventually she's gonna have a
A
friggin'
whole
3 foot long arming sword.
awesome.
I'm gonna work towards it.
Excellent.
I'm gonna try and keep her, and I have several, books in my Amazon wish list, and Armored Rose is one of them.
Good. Yeah, it's a fantastic book.
So like I said, before the 3 now, every other student I've ever had has been a guy, and men learn different.
Yeah,
it's just a fact.
Their joints are completely different too.
Exactly.
'Cause I've had this conversation with Nick and Amanda about wrists and how male and female wrists are different, and just simple motions that you wouldn't even think about would could actually get a female injured because of the difference in how you're moving it.
That cast the fisherman's rod, I've seen women do that exact same move, and the wrist bend is completely different. And I'm just like, okay, hold on, don't move. I'm gonna
what?
Look underneath. This is a very good point.
It does.
To find parrying dagger. If she wants to, like right now, she's doing that. She's doing one weapon with 2 hands because that handle is kind of long for a 2nd grader. But occasionally she'll do this really, really adorable thing where she'll have both hands on the handle and she'll be in mid swing and she'll drop her one hand.
Yes.
And I'm just like, okay, that's just cute.
That is.
But and then the last time that we were practicing, she did something that just, I'm still laughing about it now, and it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So we all know Stephen He, right?
Oh yeah, yes.
Well, apparently so does she.
Good.
So we're practice sparring.
Yeah.
And she'll go to swing at my leg, and I'll just kind of parry it. And after like 3 or 4 times, she goes, "Emotional, dang it!" I'm like, hold on, wait.
Emotional damage.
She's like, "What? The guy on the YouTube, he says emotional, dang it." And I'm like, that's not what he says. But
I mean, it makes sense in that context, though.
Please continue to say that.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Emotional, dang it.
Yes. So now when I'm around her and I do something and want to swear, that's the first thing that comes out. Because she's in 2nd grade.
Oh yeah, you gotta be careful.
A 2nd grader is not. No, we don't do that. I dropped a piece of wood on my foot the other day, and she was right there, and I went, "Emotional, dang it!" Oh yes.
I usually go to the Yosemite Sam. Fratcha.
That's a good one too. When they're really, really little, you're free to say whatever the hell you want because they're tiny and they can't really.
Oh yeah.
But then they get old enough to start repeating things, and you have to go, son of a. We were in Walmart years ago with my other cousin and one of her daughters. And, oh, geez, she was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old. and we walked past Halloween decorations.
Yes.
I don't remember what the decoration was. It was a Halloween decoration. And she just stopped and looked at her mom and went, "What the hell is that?" And we just went, "Don't laugh.
Don't laugh.
You used it correctly, but..."
Oh, see, as an auntie, it's my job to laugh. I have no problem laughing.
That's me and Foxy too.
Oh yeah.
I have technically 2 nephews and just a buttload of nieces, and I will gladly sugar them up and hyper them up and then send them back to mom.
So I have 2 nieces and a goddaughter. And my elder niece stayed with us for a week while her parents worked some stuff out. And the last day I had her, we went to the museum, and she took a nap most of the day. And I believe there were Pixie Sticks, Mountain Dew, and coffee involved. As I handed her off. I was like, have fun. She slept all day and she is sugared up.
Okay. We are over the hour.
Oh, that went by so fast.
I know. It's kind of it's entertaining when you get into these kind of situations where you're just discussing something. Look through these last few comments. And then there's Foxy, that joints don't work normal at all. Yeah. When I was going through physical therapy for my hip, she came to a few of the therapy sessions, I guess, and she would do something bending away, and even my physical therapist was like, "Please don't do that."
Oh no!
Please don't.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh.
She went to the same physical therapist, and he's just like, "I don't know what to do with you.
I
We
don't
don't
think
want
it's
to
supposed to do
hyperextend
that.
something." Could easily throw a joint out of whack. Yeah. And she has. Yeah.
Oof.
Foxy defeats herself by dislocating
Oh.
everything. Okay. One of the first times that I was practicing with her, all of my students, every single one of them, I start with just the basic Kung Fu stances. Because it's the basis of everything.
Oh, yeah. Can't do much if you fall over.
I have found over the last 30 some odd years that learning basic stances is boring.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible.
Same in Western martial arts.
So I came up with a small mini form to go through the basic stances, to flow from one to the other. One of these days, I'm going to record that and put it up on this channel.
Do it.
I'm going to. It's just not in here because I don't have the room. Like doing the Yang Simplified 24, where you have to stop and turn because you have to keep walking straight. So I'm teaching her my little mini form. And it's just go from standing to horse stance to bow stance either side. And somewhere in between facing that way bow stance and facing that way bow stance, her knee that was planted, I don't know how, where, but next thing I know, she was on the ground holding her knee. And I'm like, okay, that's all for today.
Yeah, yeah. Oof.
I don't know if it went backwards or sideways or around in a circle. I don't know.
Right. Oof.
I need to get out there and get that film, though. Because it's just one of those things that, like, you take something that's boring and monotonous and you make it into something that's not. And
Yeah.
I cannot get as low to the ground as I could before.
Yep.
With my reconstructed hip and everything, it's like I can't get down that far anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't do all of them, because there's some of them that you don't come across unless they're in very specific styles, so it's just...
Yeah.
Nick says you should record sparring sessions, not necessarily for production, but to measure both of your growth. And we have.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a video, I think from a couple summers ago, that I showed. I think I showed it on Nick's show, possibly. I want to put it up here on the channel, but I'm probably going to have to do like a explanation thing before the video and then make sure that she's okay with me putting it online. But
yeah,
there's this thing in Wing Chun called a 4-point block.
Okay.
I think I've talked about this before on other streams, but it's a 2-person drill where one person is punching high, low, and you're blocking.
Okay.
Well, when I was laid up with my hip and couldn't really do a whole lot, I'm like, I wonder if I could like export that to a sword.
Okay. Yep.
So I did.
Yep.
So I recorded this video showing the basic 4-point block unarmed and then showing it again with swords.
Yeah.
And it, again, because I'm pretty sure I did show it on Nick's channel. And again, you have a lot of people from Western martial arts. And one of the blocks, you go across your body.
Oh, yeah. People, Western martial artists lose their minds over that.
Uh-huh. I think it was Cindy that was like, weren't you afraid to block across your body? And I'm like, no, I do that all the time. Yeah.
Well, if you know where you're putting things and why you're doing it, there's a difference between, okay, this is a very intentional cross-body block. I'm doing this so I can do this. And, there's a distinct difference between
just a
that.
reaction to, oh, wait, what? Yeah. Accuracy of defeating herself. Yeah. There's a reason that we don't actually practice a whole lot. I wish you would practice more. Definitely tougher than her joints.
Yeah.
And you have to be. Carl cannot type. That's okay. We're wrapping things up anyway. Fishing game with niece. Okay. We'll write that down.
Does it involve a fish in the freezer?
Joe says also tend to base our Christmas birthday presents for nieces on loudness and how hard to remove batteries.
We do.
Yep.
My dad actually gave my niece a present, and her dad went, "Oh, darn, there's no batteries." And my dad just looked up and smiled this mild smile and went, "Oh, don't worry. I put batteries in the bag and spares."
My other cousin, my little cousin's uncle has a baby, and they just had their first birthday earlier this summer. And I'm like, how can I drive them the craziest? So I went on Amazon and found a light up drum set for them.
Yes.
And when mom and dad opened that, they both looked at me, and I'm just standing there like...
I had the Frozen recorder, like the flute recorder and tambourine set that I gave the niecelings, and I was like, yes, have fun. No batteries.
But now you're gonna have to start, giving them little swords and things.
Oh, I give them things that they can definitely hit their parents with.
There you go.
And they make fun sounds when it hits them, so even better.
When Foxy's brother and his wife and their entire family were moving away, I went and got my PVC and my pipe insulation, and I made all of them little boffer weapons.
Perfect.
I kind of call her my niece. Her brother's adopted daughter. I asked them, I'm like, what do you want me to make you?
Mhm.
And my nephew pointed at one of my Dow over there. I'm like, okay, cool. And the niece is walking through all the weapons in the house. She doesn't see anything. So I get on the computer and I'm just bringing up pictures of all the different weapons. And she finds a cup hilt rapier. And she's like, I want that one. I'm like, shit. I ended up using a red Solo cup to make the cup for the cup on her hand, and she loved it.
Yes.
And they also had a baby, and I just took a short length of PVC and covered it, so it was basically a little staff.
Oh.
And every once in a while, my sister-in-law will send me videos on my phone of my little, no longer baby niece just walking up to people and going, "Bop!"
Training them right.
Nowhere, too.
Oh,
They're in mid-conversation, and you'll see her walk into the street.
she's like a Tonberry.
She'll walk into the frame and just walk up to somebody and go, "Bop!" and then run away. God, you gotta be close to like 4 or 5 now.
Those get some power behind them.
It's like, I'm gonna go down there to visit one day, and she's just gonna walk up to me and pop.
Yep.
Aw, thank you.
The happening.
I used to do this with all of my little nieces.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very Klingon thing, I think. I would teach them to basically headbutt people as a form of affection. Not
Cats and Klingons are very similar.
Because they were infants, so I didn't want to crush their skulls, but I'd walk up to them and I'd put my hand over their head so there was a little bit of cushion, and I'd just go,
yep,
bonk. So anytime I wanted to show them affection, but they weren't feeling particularly huggy, because I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
If you ever meet me in person, I'm a hugger. So just if they weren't feeling like a hug, I just walk up and I just say, "Give me a bonk," and they right in the forehead. That child about busted my nose.
Oh no!
And I didn't think she was old enough to really be aware of what she was doing. So she was only just over a year when they moved away.
Oh, okay.
We had her first birthday party here at the apartments. And I picked her up, and they were getting ready to leave, and I was crying because all these people are going to be leaving me, and and she was going to go with them for like a month.
Yeah.
So I picked her up, and I gave her a hug, and I was kind of snuggling up against her ear, and as I pulled back, she goes, bonk, right there.
Love lasts as long as the bruise does.
Like, to be higher, sweetie, but okay. Yeah.
The broken nose of love.
Yeah, exactly. Don't we all? Yes. Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
Of course we do, yes. One sister-in-law hated it, just spurred me on. The more annoyed they get when they open the present, the more you're like, okay, I got to top this one next year.
Oh, I'd give them kinetic sand all the time.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. They loved it.
Sticker books.
Oh, yes.
That's the one that really gets you the side eye, like, oh, you son of...
That usually backfires on me because they'll stick the stickers to me.
Mm.
So I'm walking out and I'm like a mummy covered in stickers.
Ah, yes. That was when her knee went backwards.
Oh.
Yeah. Just going from bow stance facing this way to this way. And her knee went Yeah. Ow. I know. Very pinchy pain.
Yeah.
Not something anyone should have to get used to. It happens. Fish in freezer. Yeah.
If that's not your dad's slogan, Dawn, I will be very upset with him.
That's what I thought. She's a year younger than her. Okay, so she'd be in like first grade now. She went back to go to her grandfather's celebration of life last summer. And she would like call me on Discord and stuff. And this little girl that I had not seen in like 3 years literally took her mom's phone with the Discord and started running around the house showing stuff to me. I'm just like, okay. Apparently she remembers something. Yes. Cup hilt. It was literally a cup hilt rapier. I don't know if the other two still have theirs, but I'm sure the young one still does because pop.
Right.
Okay. It is almost an hour and a half now.
Oh, wow.
And one more comment.
Oop.
She got the family's heart. Yes, I know. Yeah, when she went back to visit, they went and picked mulberries together. And
I love mulberries.
One of the times that they called me and she was running around with the phone, her fingers were purple.
Yep.
Just she was showing them to me like this, and I'm just like,
your whole hand's purple when you're picking mulberries. It's just yes.
All right. I will be back next week. I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about. We will do this again in a month, possibly with Joe if he agrees to be my next test subject. I'm going to run out of people here really quick. I would very, very much like to get Amanda on here, but I know they have, family stuff on the weekends, but that would be really cool because I've had a small handful of conversation with her on like Facebook Messenger and stuff, but it would be kind of cool to actually get to sit down and be able to talk
Amanda's
with
awesome.
her about a lot of the same things that I just discussed with you. So
she is a pole arm expert. That woman, freaking awesome.
That's what I've heard. All right, guys, we are well over our hour now. This has been so much fun.
I had such a good time.
I'm glad. And I'm just, you were always going to be the first person I interviewed. Always.
Well, thank you.
Because from the small bit of sparring I've seen on Nick's channel, I think if I could pick one person overall to spar with, you would be the first choice.
We would have so much fun, I think. I think it would be a really good time.
I think that's the entire thing is, it doesn't always have to be super serious. You can with sparring.
Yeah.
And Carl saying goodnight. Donna had fun. Foxy thanking everyone for coming. It was a fun hour plus.
Right? Yeah, that flew by.
Oh God. All right, we have our videographer now. We just need to get one of us to the other person, and we'll see something.
Right. We'll do an online sparring match.
That would be an interesting trick. It's odd enough trying to teach Kitty over Zoom when I don't do rope darts.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of the same kind of stuff I do with Foxy, and then I'm like, okay, now you can go do your rope dart stuff.
Go look at manuals. Go look at manuals.
Go find something. So what do you think, Joe? You want to be the next guest in October?
Do it. It's fun.
Probably October 12th, maybe? Because the 5th will be 2 days after my birthday. So that'll be a birthday stream. All right, there you go.
Oh,
Cool.
there you go.
October 12th, we're going to be interviewing Joe Bachman. Good deal. All right, folks. We're going to sign off now because if we don't, we're going to continue talking for the next hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's just kind of how these things go.
Oh, yeah.
But I will be back next week and the week after.
I already I wrote it in the notebook so I can transfer it to the whiteboard that's right here so I know what's going on.
All right. Okay. Just one more question.
Yeah.
How are you liking the piercers?
They go spin, spin, round, round. I'll be sitting there just spinning them. Not well yet, but we're getting there, and that's fun.
With wanting to have something in both hands, that was definitely part of the thought process there. Once you get the mechanics of spinning down, it gets a lot easier.
Yeah.
Especially if you're proficient with both hands. I am not. But if I do with my right hand.
Nice.
It's wrist and this knuckle.
Okay.
Just
got you. I've been trying the opposite knuckle. I've been going off of here.
Now, if I try and do it with my left hand, I don't know if I can. Nope. See? I can't.
That's about where I'm at right now.
That was almost a good one. I also have this. This is my little wannabe scabbard for them.
Ah.
They just kind of sit side by side, but the rings are on top of each other.
Got you. Mine's actually in front of the Mischief and Mayhem sign, sideways on the stand, with the rings pointing up.
See, that's what I thought was going to be the answer to if you could pick one weapon from around the world that you could learn, what would it be? That's what I thought.
Well, I'm in the process of learning them, so
see, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like Foxy can write with both hands at the same time. No, I cannot.
Oh, dang.
That's probably why when I'm sword fighting, I forget my left hand exists because my left hand is like, what am I doing? Yeah. I have seen this.
That's awesome.
I have seen this. 2 separate pieces of paperwork, one on each side, just going, both hands.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we got to go.
We'll keep everybody up.
I'm going to go make dinner and get ready for Last Man Standing. Thank everyone for coming.
Yes, and thank you for having me on here.
Thank you for being an awesome guest.
Also, because you did not plug it, buy the merch. The shirt is so comfortable, you guys. It's so comfortable. Buy the merch.
I want to try and make either another shirt or, I don't know, freaking coffee mug or something. I don't know. Yeah. Something. I have my little sticker here.
Nice.
Good night, everyone. I will see you next week.
Night, y'all.